Theirs is a reputation forged in fire, a dream job for young men and women.
It's getting harder every week, but like, I don't think I'd want to do anything else.
But privately, there's a dark side.
Somebody turned their water off. That's a life and death situation.
Female firefighters bullied. This is the untold story of women who stood up to the all-male brotherhood and the price they paid, driven by the fire within.
The Fire Within, the name of the newest Fifth Estate investigation that you will see tonight on CBC Television. The voice you heard belongs to Mark Kelley, who leads that investigation, and with me this morning. Great to see you as always.
Thank you, Heather.
What are you looking at this story?
Well, I want to give you a quiz for you and your viewers this morning. When we think about women in the workforce, so in the Canadian workforce, 50% of women, 50% of the workforce are women.
Right.
Okay, so let's drill down now.
Okay.
If you had to guess, what percentage of women would be police officers?
25.
Good. It's like 19%.
Okay.
Armed forces.
20.
You're on fire, Ms. Hiscox.
It's the Fire Within, Mark. It's the Fire Within. All right.
Firefighters.
Well, we're going to, 15.
3%.
Whoa.
So this is the thing. You look down, and in the workforce, we're so integrated right now in this day and age, but firefighters is this one domain that remains almost an all-male bastion. In the United States, it's about 4% that are women. And that is part of the problem as we encountered. We were flooded with phone calls at the Fifth Estate from female firefighters saying, you got to tell our story. Stories that they didn't want to tell on camera, stories that they didn't want to be able to talk about publicly, but it's something, as they say, what happens inside the fire hall stays inside the fire hall.
So what kinds of harassment are you talking about?
It is so deep-seated. I knew nothing about this before we started researching this story. We're talking about, it starts in a way where women would find feces in their fire boots, and then they talk about there'd be porn magazines in the fire hall. They'd be playing porn movies at night in the dorm, and that would lead to sexual comments, sexual innuendo, and that would lead to sexual touching, which would lead to sexual assault. There was a case just recently this year in BC where a fire chief was convicted of 3 counts of sexual assault towards 3 of his female firefighters. This is the kind of attitude that's pervasive. You're talking about women who are getting their tires slashed, women who have had their water turned off, their oxygen bottles turned off when the tanks turned off when they're fighting a fire. The essential thing when you're fighting a fire is you have to know that the person beside you has your back. And more women in this country today in 2015 feel that the man beside them does not have their back.
Have they taken the stories that they've told you publicly now, have they taken those stories to their chiefs, to their departments to try to get something done?
Some of them have, and this is the heartbreaking part, is the women that we spoke to on camera, because there's a different, we spoke to dozens of women, many of them off camera, some of them on camera. The women we spoke to on camera, Heather, are women whose careers are over. They're women who fought the discrimination, who went public with the harassment, who said that something's got to change, and they're gone. They've been rooted out of their fire services. They've been seen as the problem. So when we talk to so many women right now who tell their stories who are still firefighters, but they won't come on camera because they say it's a career ender for them to tell their stories. This is what we wanted to do with this story, is to shed some light about a reality that's going on in this country. And case after case after case right across this country, in fire halls, big and small, in this country. I was shocked to see that this was happening. And these tough, strong women who are in there still fighting for their jobs, but they're fighting against so much more than already a dangerous job that firefighting is.
Is it just a fact of the numbers, Mark, in that when we've talked about sexual harassment, big scandals of late within the RCMP, for example, within the armed forces, what came to light was the culture that was allowed to continue. So is it the numbers, or is it, again, I guess it's a function of both?
But you're hitting right on it. There is a culture. There is a tradition. There is a history. And in the firefighting services, it's known as the brotherhood. It's not the sisterhood. The sisters know that they aren't really, and they've been told over and over again, you don't belong to the brotherhood. The women that we spoke to, and they talk these heartbreaking stories, but they emphasize, and I want to emphasize here, this is not the majority of firefighters. That the majority of firefighters, good people, honest people, people with integrity, but there's a small bunch within so many fire halls across this country. There was a survey done by one consultant who went into the city of Ottawa, 1,000 firefighters there. 33% of them said that they acknowledge there's bullying and harassment going on there. but they're not doing anything to stop it themselves, the bystander effect. We want to shed light on the fact that a lot of these women are toiling in really unfair and unhealthy circumstances out there, and we need to shed some light on it. We need to get some conversations going to make their jobs better and safer.
Okay, one just thing before I let you go, and that is, I mean, you hit on something that's really important. If you look at any survey, what is a hero? A firefighter. If you look at any survey, what is the most trusted profession? Number one or close to number one.
Absolutely.
Firefighter. So you're talking about a group of people that are highly, highly regarded in society. So as you call it, the dark side. Is there any fire department, though, force in the country that's recognizing this, trying to do something about it for the women who have to perform the same duties? I mean, that's an important part to make.
Absolutely. And this has been recognized by so many, especially some big fire departments here in Toronto, in the city of Ottawa that we looked at, that have recognized the problem. I mean, the reality right now is that firefighters are male and white. That is the predominant thing that exists right now. Women, minorities, not visible minorities, not often seen. So that they're trying to change that right now. But for the women who are out there, people who wanted to join the fire service for the same reason why men wanted to do it, they wanted because they're people of courage, they're people of integrity. They deserve something better, and our story really wants to amplify their concerns, get the conversation going in fire halls and communities across this country that they deserve better.
Mark, thank you very much for
Thanks,
this
Sarah.
morning. You'll look forward to seeing the full investigation tonight. The Fifth Estate airs at 9 p.m. on CBC Television, 9:30 in Newfoundland. There's more for you to read in advance online. That's at cbc.ca/